Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. I was just looking at a special little girl here. Yeah, I know. She's a very special little girl. Yeah, she hasn't been feeling all too terribly great here lately. Springtime allergies are flaring up pretty darn good. So yeah, she has been kind of a little mopey. But, Mommy trying to do her best to help take care of her and everything. I was a little worried about her, or I have been the last, 2, 3 days, something like that. A little worried about her. For those of you who don't know, maybe just joining, first of all, welcome. She has dealt with pancreatitis in the past, excuse me. So she is prone to that, and because of that, I have to be mindful, watchful of any of those symptoms that creep us up. And the last couple of days, like 2, 3 days, something like that, she's been a bit skittish, running up underneath the bed a lot, which is a bit unusual for her. Even with me, with a lot of things. So I've been a little worried. I usually help her out with that by getting a Feliway cartridge, plugging that in, and I was very tempted to see about getting one, but I also don't want to do it too early. I mean, I realize it lasts 30 days and so forth, but I don't want to jump the gun with her either. So, but yeah, so I'm just kind of keeping my eye on her a little bit and see how she does. So, push comes to shove, I can always see about getting some children's Benadryl and doing that for her. I've got some syringes and I can see about giving her some of that. She hates it. I mean, absolutely hates it, but she does get some of it in. She does spit most of it out. And I'm not just talking about pat, 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 that sort of. I mean, she actually, just, opens up her mouth and just gags it out. So, yeah, she's really bad about it. But, anywho, I think I mentioned in the last video, actually I know I mentioned in the last video about some counted cross stitch patterns that I've been waiting for. It was kind of interesting how that wound up playing out. Sunday morning, with checking the Postal Service tracking, it was showing that it was here in St. Paul. Okay, I'm not in St. Paul, but basically the main distribution center there over in St. Paul. It was showing that it was here, and it was in the process of being, processed, so on and so forth. And then I woke up Monday morning, which is when it was supposed to be delivered, and all of a sudden it was showing it was sent back to Kansas. And I'm like, what the fuck? So it actually started off in Arkansas, then it was sent down to a distribution facility in Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma City, if I remember correctly. And then it went up to Kansas, then to St. Paul. Then it went back to Kansas. And I'm like, what the heck? I thought maybe something happened to it. Maybe it got damaged in the mail, or maybe something happened with the vendor, but I didn't get any messages, but I realized not everybody's going to be doing that or whatever, and I'm just like, what is going on? So I figure, okay, let's give it the day and see what happens. Next thing I know, next morning, I checked on it, excuse me, and it was back up here again. So basically, somebody screwed up over there, sent it back to Kansas, and they realized, oh, somebody screwed up, sent it back up here, and I got it on Tuesday. So anyway, this is it. All the Kachinas here, and I am so excited to be able to work on these. And also, she had thrown in these other ones. Basically, the three top ones there are just reprints of the ones that's in the leaflet, but then this one extra was also in there. So I'm like, yay! And then come to find out, if you look close up there at the top, it says book 1. Yeah. So I did some research, and there was a book 2, and I have kind of found it, but it is a dual set of book 1 and book 2. So, and I obviously don't want book 1, so, but I can see about doing some more research and maybe find book 2. So I'll look at that and go from there. But yeah, I have that. I got myself some Aida cloth. I did look it up, and there's actually 3 different pronunciations depending on where you're at and where, so on and so forth. In America, they say Aida cloth. Europe, Mediterranean areas, they say Aida, but some people, like myself, I say Aida. So it just kind of depends on the person. So anyway, also, another thing I got yesterday, I got these, and now you're probably like, what the fuck is that? I will show you what those are. Ta-da! You take your floss, your embroidery floss, you undo them from the spool, and do it. Basically, I don't want to say rewind, but you just kind of keep folding it. Okay, like bring it together. You bring your 2 ends together, and then to bring the opposite end up. Just keep doing that until you get it to the length that you want it. Okay. And then you can tie it off and put them onto these little doohickeys, which are called bobbins. Okay. I also, if you look close on each of the bobbins there, I ordered stickers. These are the numbers, because these are from the company called DMC. Okay. It's the most widely known and most popular company out there in existence. They've been out there forever. Who knows how long they've been out there? At least 100 years. There have been others along the way. I personally, in the past, used to love J&P coats. The colors were a lot brighter and so forth, but JP has, at least when Joann was in existence, mostly what they were into were sewing machine threads, those sorts of threads, okay, instead of the flosses like these. But they used to, and I think maybe you might be able to find them like in the packaged ones. These DMC is the only one anymore where you can buy individual colors. All the rest of them out there are those pre-packaged things where you have a whole bunch of colors, and it's usually one skein of, like a red and a blue and a yellow, so on and so forth, okay? So if your pattern or whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's a pattern like this where they pre-select the colors, or maybe you're working on something that you've designed yourself or whatever, and if you need, say, more than one skein of, I don't know, maybe this yellow here, this gold color here, okay, and you use those prepackaged things, you got to buy the whole package in order to get this one skein. That's one of the reasons why people, I don't want to say professionals, but more people who have those packages are good for beginners, okay? But once you get into doing it and so forth, you want to be able to do your own colors or whatever, and that's when you start using DMC for your individual colors, okay? So anyway, I got these, they're pre-printed stickers for DMC. It's basically just a grid of these stickers, and that way I can put the number, the corresponding number, because each thread color has their own corresponding number, put that onto there. And initially I was putting the numbers in the middle of the bobbin here, but then I got to thinking about how I like to do things, and I will show you what I'm talking about. This would be a really good one to show. You see here, okay, you have your grid here. Okay, well, what are all the, you see all those symbols? Well, the symbol is here on your legend, basically, telling you, okay, this one here is this color, this one here is this color, and it has the corresponding number for the DMC, and then there used to be a color line way back in the day called Bates, okay, and that would be the corresponding number for up underneath that one. But a nice thing about DMC too is that these numbers and colors don't change ever. Okay, they will add, but as far as the old numbers are concerned, they don't ever change. So anyway, as far as I know, because come to think of it, with this black, they're saying it's 301, and I know full well it's 310. Yeah, I think that's a misprint on this chart, because if you can see, sorry, I didn't mean to make you all see a close-up of my face there for a minute. As you can see, this one here, it's showing that, okay, yeah, black is 310. So yeah, I think that's a misprint on that one. So anyway, which is kind of interesting, I'm going to have to make sure I'll take this with, because when I was doing up my list of skeins that I needed, I forgot to look at this one. So I got the numbers off of this one to see which additional skeins that I need, and I'm going to have to probably take this with to make sure that those numbers are the right colors. That would be a little embarrassing. Okay, 838 is supposed to be dark brown, and it winds up being peach or something. So anyway, but anyway, like I said, was trying to point out with this, when I'm working, I don't necessarily look at the numbers while I'm working. Okay, it's a lot faster for me, or easier for me, to just focus on the pattern. And when I'm needing to pull that particular color, in the past, I worked with these project cards. I'd have one that's over there. You can still buy them, but what I would do is I would secure the skeins to the project card, and then there's usually like a line, a space next to it, either a line or a box or something like that, where you can write down either the number or something like that. And usually you write down the number. But what I always used to like to do as well is write down whatever pattern that I'm working on. I would like to put down the corresponding symbol, and even how many strands of thread that I would use. Because each of these, let's see if I can pull one off of here. Let's do... Boop, boop. Well, let's do this one. Here we go. Here we go. Because each of these threads have actually 6 strands of thread. Okay, and typically, oh no, I'm trying to. There we go. Here's a full one. Okay, so and typically with your patterns, you're not using this full thing of the full 6 strands. You're usually just using 1, 2, or 3 of these strands, as you can see. Okay, so, and like this one, this is one that I've used in the past for something else that I had worked on, and this particular one is got 2 together. Okay, so anyway, I used to like to write down on the project cards that I would work off of the symbol and how many strands of thread, so in that way it's a lot easier for me to be able to keep track, especially because a lot of times I don't necessarily work on something from start to finish, like within a few days or something like that. I'll work on something and might put it down for a while for whatever reason. Either I get bored or something else comes up in life, and or whatever, and then I'll come back to it at a later time. So it's for me, it's just a lot easier to have the symbols also, and how many strands that I'm using also along with the number. And I'm like, well, shoot, how am I going to do that with the bobbins? And I got to thinking, one of the things that you do with your cloth so that you don't to protect the edges, because a lot of times when you're working on them, even if you're like using a hoop or what have you, what will wind up happening a lot of times is the edges will start to fray. The threads will start to come out from the fabric, whether you're working with Aida cloth or a regular piece of broadcloth, or something like that. Broadcloth, basically, t-shirt material, any sort of fabric. Okay, if you don't have this edges secure, the edges will start to fray. That's one of the reasons why you hem your fabrics whenever you make like clothing or what have you. That's why there's a hem on there to help secure those edges. So anyway, when I'm working on embroidery or counted cross stitch, I like to secure the edges without sewing them together, because I might be using that edge for something else. Okay, and I want to be to help not waste fabric. You typically will do to the size of whatever it is that you're working on, or maybe a little bit bigger or something like that. But it's a good idea to make sure you don't have, either way, you don't have too much fraying by securing your edges like with masking tape. So I bought some masking tape, and I got thinking about that, with my conundrum with our bobbins here, and I'm like, oh, just take a piece of masking tape, put it on there, and then I can write on that and what the color symbol is and how many strands that I need for that. Okay. Sometimes, though, of course, you might be using the same color for a couple of different kinds of stitches, which may require a different amount of strands of thread. So, of course, you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. But as far as my crosses are concerned, I usually like to write things down and have it on there. So, and the nice thing with using the masking tape, I can just take that, right back off after I'm done with it, and then I have this for another project. So, yay! Oh, that wasn't too boring for you. But I got these for anybody who, here's the stickers. I forgot where I put them. Hello. I found these on Amazon. Initially I was looking at project cards because I needed some project cards. There we go. Here's the stickers that I was talking about. As you can see, well, kind of see. Hopefully it'll focus. Not too terribly much. But anyway, you kind of get the idea. It's got all these numbers, and then you got the white, the ecru, which don't have numbers. But yeah, you get the kind of the idea. Okay, and you can order these. I think I got these for like $6 off of Amazon. So, and the nice thing with it is I won't have to worry. I mean, yeah, these stickers do kind of come on and off very, very easily, but the nice thing about it is that they're nice and clear. I'm not having to be worrying about my messy handwriting, and I can just keep reusing these bobbins. When the thread runs out, I replace the skein, and I can just keep reusing them. The bobbins, initially when I was looking at project cards, because I was just like, oh shoot, I need project cards in order to work on this. I was initially looking at those, and I liked these ones, and then I seen bobbins pop up. I've looked at bobbins in the past. The ones that you usually find at like places like Michael's or Joann's when they were in business, Hobby Lobby, places like that. But I never really liked those for various reasons. For one thing, they can have a tendency to crimp the thread, which I don't like. Also, when you're done working with some, like say for instance, you're working on a project or you're finished with a project, you got leftover thread. Okay, how do I handle that? I'm not somebody who throws a thread away, especially with it as expensive as what it's getting. I mean, I remember when skeins were 10 cents a piece, then they jumped up to 25, then 50. Now they're almost a buck a piece. It's like, holy cow. But I get it because the demand isn't out there, so they've got to recoup their costs with those who are actually still doing it. But yeah, I mean, I get it, supply, demand, all that sort of crap. But I'm not somebody who, even though, I might do, a few stitches with 2 strands of thread, and now I've got this whole long thing of thread left, or partial, thread, 6-strand thread, and it's like, well, what do I do with that? Take it and wind it on there, and it just, I don't know, it's just too messy for me. I just don't like it, especially since it crimps it, and I never know how much to pull off to get it to the length that I prefer it. Or in the end, okay, I might be pulling off the same amount each time, but in the end I wind up with a little bit like this. No, and that's, to me, is wasteful. So I've tried them. I don't like it. Tossed them. And then when I was looking at project cards, that's one reason why I've been strictly using project cards all these years. But then it popped up with some acrylic bobbins, same concept as what these are, but then these popped up, and I'm like, ooh, I like the idea of wood more, primarily because, it's more natural. Well, obviously it is natural, and also the acrylic ones, I think there was only like maybe 30 or 40 in the package or whatever, and with these I got 100 of them. That'll keep me busy. And the nice thing about it is they, obviously I can keep reusing these or what have you. This will give me a great opportunity. So I've got a bunch of, I do have some thread over there that I can see about cutting, getting them ready to put onto these here, and so on and so forth. And then I can just, start stockpiling all of my thread. These ones also did come with a ring. This is the ring it came with, but I'm like, yeah, with the amount of thread that I really want to see about restockpiling. I used to have a bunch of thread, but anyway. So yeah, I need to replenish my thread collection, basically, is what I'm looking at doing. So, and I knew I'd need more than one, and then I could tell from the picture this is just a small ring and, kind of thin and so forth. So I opted to buy this one, as you can see, much bigger, okay, and also a lot thicker. And it obviously, ow, 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 oh, 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 sorry, my elbow froze up, and ouch, ow. So anyway, nice thing about this, and I can put a whole bunch on here, and I can start organizing. I think it's a pack of 12 that I bought on Prime. You can either search for them, or if you're having difficulties, just go ahead and message me. I can see about posting the link for them. And I can see about starting to organize my threads as well, so I could have one of these for reds, tans, or browns, golds, so on and so forth. So, yeah. Love this. This is really cool. I decided, especially since I need to restockpile my my thread collection anyway, I decided, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and see about starting with the colors that they're recommending for the project and go from there, see if I want to swap any out or whatever. But I really like the color palette. I know you're not really able to see it very well the way they're hanging. I don't know. There we go. Yeah, I really like the color palette that they did. Okay. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with it. So yeah. And I'll see about getting those other three skeins, excuse me. And then I'll be set ready to go with working on my project. I just need to cut out my Aida cloth. And let me put these aside. Yeah, I took a look at the finished. I'm just working with. That's the thing with Aida cloth too. Too. I need to let you know about how many counts each. You got different counts of Aida cloth. It's how many X's or how many squares there are per inch. So the more amount of squares per inch that it's saying that it is, like if it says it's 14 count or 32 count, something like that, that means that that is how many squares there are per inch in that cloth of fabric. All right. So, for instance, if the standard is typically 14 inches, and the more squares there are per inch, it means the smaller your design is going to be. And it's also going to make it life a lot more difficult with being able to work on it. So if you're doing something that is kind of big, maybe a 32 or a 28 count or something like that would be good. But your standard, like with these, okay, is 14. There is an 11, so it'd be even bigger. But that would be good, for something that is kind of small. Maybe you want to blow it up a little bit or something. So that's something to keep in mind if you're interested in doing counted cross stitch. I don't mind doing counted cross stitch. It can be a little bit on the boring side, but if you're doing something, it's good for me, especially with being, I don't want to say I'm an expert sewer. I would say I'm more medium to advanced, something like that. Okay. I know quite a few embroidery stitches, but if you're working on something that is a little bit complex, you've got to take a break from it, or maybe you want to work on two things at the same time, like what I'm going to be doing. But you want something to work on, but maybe a little bit mind-numbing, that might be more of a meditation sort of exercise or whatever. You're working on something, but you're kind of using it more of a meditation thing. This can be good to work on. And not saying that it can't be complex, because it can, especially when you're getting into, really intricate sort of designs where you're going to be needing to change out your threads constantly, or on a consistent basis or something like that. Yeah, you might have to have your mind in the right mindset to work on it, and you are having to be counting squares also at the same time. So, like, for instance, trying to get this one, like this one right here, okay, that I'm showing you, and you've also got some space in between, like the arms and the wings there. You got some white space in there. You're going to need to make sure that you have that counted out correctly so it will turn out right. Okay, there's even space up there at the top, up here with where those rays are at. So it can be a little bit intricate sometimes. So you do have to be kind of mindful of all that. I don't think there's any white in there. No, it does look like they've got some white thread in there, but still, you're going to have to. I'm talking out there at the top with where the feathers were at, but still, especially those wings, it's a little bit intricate in there. So yeah, definitely would have to be a little bit mindful of that. So anywho, yeah, but it's not as, I don't want not as complicated as say a lot of embroidery can be. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get across. So yeah. But I personally, I think that kind of cross stitch. I actually, when I first started sewing, I was introduced through embroidery, and I wound up teaching myself kind of cross stitch, but with doing embroidery, switching over to kind of cross stitch was actually quite easy. So, but yeah, you just got to kind of be a little mindful of it sometimes too. So. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, let you know that I did get this. And I am working on things with my quilt. I'm still generating some stuff in there. I need to make a run. There's a fabric store here called S.R. Harris, and it's a warehouse. And I did come across one of their locations way south of here, which was pretty intense as it was. And this place that Angie, my friend, was telling me about is huge. It's supposed to be really, really huge. So I want to run out there, and she's been helping me with finding, things also. And she sent me a link for another store here. It's a fabric store, quilting store, but they focus a lot on native prints, and they're designed by natives. And so I'm interested in checking out what they have, but to maybe see if maybe it might be something I might be interested in. Anything there anyway, but I'm really looking for like calicos that are Southwest inspired. So and there's one we had, or I should say, she had found a fat quarter panel at a store up in what is that, St. Cloud, when we were there last year. And unfortunately, this one is going out of print, or is already out of print. I'm not entirely too sure which, but I did find a fabric store in Wisconsin that is selling it still, and they had a couple of bolts. So I really am seriously considering maybe grabbing a couple of yards to have on hand. And it's like $13 a yard. So, but yeah, I'm seriously considering seeing about maybe making that purchase here soon, just to have it on hand, because it's a beautiful print. It is a calico inspired sort of print with the Zia sun symbol, and also some animals, and also cactus also in through it as well. So yeah, I'm very much interested. The only thing is it's got an ivory background. Well, they did several, of course, different ones, with different color schemes. But this one that I really like, it's got an ivory background, and one of the main colors in my quilt that I've got going in my head is kind of like an ivory background. So, and then of course I'm introducing that. So how much ivory that's the concern that I have, is my quilt winding up with too much ivory, which, okay, that's fine or whatever, but I want a nice color balance too. So, and my quilt is going to have embroidery in it as well. So, yeah, I'm really excited about all this. So, yeah, I am starting to, as far as PT is concerned, I was going to be going to that this week, but I think I got a little bit of food poisoning the other day because I was in the process of cooking something and power went out. So I didn't get food poisoning off of that, but I still wanted to see about working that night. But unfortunately, there wasn't. I wasn't, of course, able to finish cooking my food right away, and I didn't want to get too late. So there we go. I got that off finally. So I went out searching to see about finding someplace open, which I did. There was a whole shopping center that still had their power, but there wasn't too many restaurant options. So I wound up in one place. It was a national name brand. I won't say who it was, but I don't know if it was food poisoning or if it just plain flat out didn't agree with me. But yeah, I'm still kind of recuperating from, especially with my gut issues that I have. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, and yeah, I did get a chance to finish cooking my food. So yeah, in the process, I wound up rescheduling my PT appointment. I was going to have one this week, but to be honest with you, I'm thinking about stopping them, period, because I've been doing great. And I stopped the supplements this week as well. So, I think maybe just keep doing the PT at home. Yeah, I'm still getting a little bit of flare-ups with, I feel it a little bit here and there. 'Cause we've had some storms this week. I'm feeling it a little bit here and there, but I'm doing a lot better than what I was. And if anything, I am in the process of ramping up how much I'm working, taking things in stride a lot more, being more empathetic between my mind, body, and spirit, finding that balance between the three. So yeah, and I did have a virtual appointment with Mayo here recently. It was more of a wellness checkup sort of situation, and I'd never met with this doctor before, but with talking with her, she's like, yeah, I can just tell, even though this is our first visit, I can tell you know, you are doing great. You've got your head together. You're learning how to live with your condition and so forth, and everything. So it's like, and she could tell that, the PT is great. I have been doing yoga also full force, so that's been going well and everything. But yeah, I'm seriously, I had rescheduled this week's PT appointment for next week. I'm going to go ahead and keep it for right now, but I'm seriously thinking that, you know what, maybe I'll just save those last appointments because my insurance will only cover up to 14 appointments, and I've done 9 so far, so I'm thinking maybe save these last 4 appointments for when I might need them. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I definitely want to see about losing all this weight. I am completely off of my anti-inflammatory diet. I've been eating gluten, cheese. Yeah, I pigged out. Of course, that doesn't help with the weight issues. But yeah, my body is just like, gimme, 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 So I'm like, okay, obviously I need something. If anything, I've been doing great. So, and I've been feeling a lot better. Estroven, I found, at least with the Walmarts right around here, they're not stocking it, at least the one that I use. So I took my last pill yesterday, and I'm thinking about cutting that out as well. I'll probably keep the ashwagandha going for a while, primarily because it does help me to calm things, especially with all the spiritual stuff that I do and being connected with the energies, the astrological energies and so on and so forth. Like today, we have a full moon in Scorpio, very intense, and I definitely felt it out there when I was the little bit of time that I was working. It was pretty intense out there, so today I need to get my calendars taken care of for the month of May anyway, and I want to get things situated with these kind of cross-stitch patterns, and get the fabric ready and so forth, and get those other 3 skeins of thread and so forth. And I'm gonna need to cook tomorrow too, or at least maybe tonight. See about cooking, and then I'll have it ready for tomorrow. But yeah, I just I'm gonna take the night off tonight, give my spirit an opportunity to recharge, especially after things that happened last night. It was a little bit on the intense side. I mean, I was fine with it, and I could definitely tell how much I've grown with things spiritually, and but yeah, I think it would be a good idea for me to take tonight off, let things calm down a little bit, maybe even take tomorrow night off, let things calm down a little bit out there, and especially with how I've been kind of intense. I don't want to say intense, but tense all day. Not because of what happened last night, but I can definitely tell we've got that full moon energy coming up. It's happening at I believe 5:22 Eastern time or something like that. But anyway, either way, it's happening today. So depending on what time zone you're in. So yeah, But yeah, I'm just gonna chill out and take care of my mind, body, and spirit today, and tomorrow or Sunday, another day. That's the way I look at it. So, and it will give me a chance to spend some time with my daughter here and take care of her as well. So, all right, I think that's everything. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to mention, I am gearing myself up to see about getting back home. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. One of the reasons why I'm wanting to work on this stuff. And yeah, I've been doing a little bit of apartment looking too. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing all of that, and maybe see about buying myself a car before I go. Yeah, that would be nice. As I know her car, forget it. But yeah. All right. That's all I got for you for right now. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon.